The letter. The snow fell softly against the windows of the Sterling Tower, 40 stories above the city streets. Inside his corner office, James Mitchell sat alone at his mahogany desk, the glow of the setting sun painting everything in shades of amber and gold. It was Christmas Eve. The office was quiet now. His employees had left hours ago, rushing home to their families, their laughter echoing through the hallways as they wished each other happy holidays. James had stayed behind, as he always did. There was no one waiting for him at home. Used an empty penthouse with too many rooms and too much silence. He loosened his tie and glanced at the small Christmas tree his assistant had placed near the window. The lights blinked slowly, red and green and gold, reflecting off the glass. He had told her not to bother, but Sarah had insisted. She always insisted on these small gestures of normalcy, as if decorating his office might somehow fill the emptiness in his life. James turned back to his desk and began sorting through the last of his mail. Most of it was business, contracts, reports, invoices. Then his hand stopped on a cream-colored envelope that looked different from the rest. The address was written in crayon. Big, uneven letters that slanted across the front. To Santa Claus, the North Pole. James frowned and turned the envelope over. There was a return address, but no name. Used a street in a neighborhood on the other side of the city. Someone at the post office must have sent it here by mistake, perhaps seeing Sterling Tower and assuming it belonged to his company's holiday charity program. He should have set it aside for Sarah to handle in the morning. But something made him open it instead. Inside was a single sheet of paper, folded carefully. The same crayon handwriting covered the page, with a simple drawing at the bottom, 3 stick figures holding hands. 2 small ones and 1 tall one in the middle. James began to read. Dear Santa, my name is Emma. I am 7 years old. You have been very good this year. You helped my mom with the dishes and I read to my little brother Tommy every night. For Christmas, I don't want toys or games. I just want one thing. Please send me a dad. My mom works very hard and she gets tired. Tommy asks about dads sometimes because his friends have them. Mom says our dad had to go away before Tommy was born and he's not coming back. She cries sometimes when she thinks we're asleep. I think if we had a dad, Mom wouldn't be so sad and Tommy would have someone to play catch with. You know this is probably too big for a Christmas present, but you do magic, so maybe you can help. Thank you, Santa. Love, Emma. James set the letter down slowly. His hands were shaking. He read it again, then a third time, his throat growing tight. The simple honesty of it cut through him like a knife. This little girl wasn't asking for dolls or bicycles. She was asking for something he understood all too well. The emptiness of a home that felt incomplete. The weight of loneliness that settled in like winter cold. He thought about his own childhood. His father had died when James was 8. He remembered his mother working 2 jobs, exhausted but never complaining. He remembered the empty chair at the dinner table, the quiet house, the feeling that something essential was missing. He had spent his whole adult life building an empire, making millions, acquiring everything money could buy. But he had forgotten what mattered. He had pushed people away, buried himself in work, convinced himself that success was enough. Now, at 42, he sat alone in an office tower on Christmas Eve, holding a letter from a child who wanted exactly what he had lost. James stood up and walked to the window. The city spread out below him, thousands of lights twinkling in the darkness. Somewhere out there, in a small apartment across town, a little girl named Emma was probably asleep, hoping Santa had received her letter. He looked at the return address again. Then he made a decision. The next morning, Christmas Day, James drove across the city in his car. He had stopped at several stores that morning, the few that were open, though he barely knew what he was looking for. He just knew he had to do something. The address led him to a modest apartment building in a quiet neighborhood. The hallways were narrow but clean, decorated with paper snowflakes and candy canes. He found the apartment number and knocked, his heart pounding. A woman answered the door. She was younger than he expected, maybe 30, with tired eyes and Emma's same dark hair. A small boy peeked out from behind her legs. "Can I help you?" she asked, confused. James suddenly felt foolish standing there in his expensive coat, holding shopping bags. "I'm sorry to bother you on Christmas morning. My name is James Mitchell. I received a letter that I think was meant for Santa Claus. From Emma?" The woman's face went pale. "Oh my God. He told her those letters go to the North Pole. I didn't know. I'm so sorry if she bothered anyone at the post office or—" "No," James said quickly. "Please, it's nothing like that. He used. I read the letter, and I wanted to meet her. If that's all right." The woman studied him for a long moment, and something in his face must have convinced her because she slowly opened the door wider. "Emma," she called. "Someone's here to see you." A little girl appeared, wearing pajamas covered in reindeer. Her eyes went wide when she saw James. "Are you from Santa?" she whispered. James knelt down so he was at her level. "In a way, yes. Santa asked me to deliver something to you." He handed her one of the bags. Inside was a doll and some books, things he had grabbed quickly from the store. Emma smiled, but he could see the flicker of disappointment in her eyes. This weren't what she had asked for. "Thank you," she said politely. "Emma," James said gently, "Santa wanted me to tell you something. He can't deliver everything instantly. Some gifts take time to arrive properly. But he heard your wish, and he's going to do his best." He stood up and looked at Emma's mother. "I know this is unusual, and you don't know me. But I'd like to help, if you'll let me. Not with money. We steam. He could visit sometimes, maybe take Tommy to the park, or help with things around the apartment. I don't have family of my own, and I think maybe Santa sent Emma's letter to me for a reason." The woman's eyes filled with tears. "I don't understand. Why would you do this?" James looked at Emma, then at little Tommy, then back at their mother. "Because a long time ago, I was a kid who missed having a father. And now I'm an adult who forgot what it means to be part of a family. Maybe we can help each other." The woman wiped her eyes and smiled. "Would you like to stay for breakfast? It's just pancakes, but—" "I'd like that very much," James said. As he stepped inside the small apartment, Emma slipped her hand into his. "Are you going to be our dad?" she asked hopefully. "I don't know yet," James said honestly. "But I'd like to try to be your friend first. Is that okay?" Emma nodded and smiled. Outside, the snow continued to fall on Christmas morning, soft and wet and perfect. And for the first time in years, James Mitchell felt like he was exactly where he was supposed to be.